hello, but Aspen is too polite to jump on my lap. Thank you, Maggie. You're a very good girl. Um, Today I want to talk about why I'm vegan. I want to tell my vegan story while I finish up my delicious vegan soup and hang out with these adorable doggies. You guys want to see Aspen? Here's Aspen. I know. And now Maggie's so upset because no one's allowed to have attention if she doesn't get attention. Okay, these are the doggies. I'm dog sitting right now. So, a lot of people assumed that I was vegan for years before I was vegan. But I used to be very much a meat and potatoes girl. um, my goodness. Hello. Hello. And then I started dating a vegan, and he was very patient with me. At that point, I had been exploring not eating as much meat, just kind of seeing like what would life be like. Because like I didn't like touching like cooking meat, and especially this was in my 20s, so I was like just kind of learning how to cook for myself, and like touching chicken like felt really gross, and I was always like concerned about getting myself sick from not cooking it correctly. So eventually I was like, wait, okay, well, now you've scratched my face and that kind of hurt, babe, so I gotta put you down. I'm gonna put you down because last time, no, okay, no, but you can't get all up in my business, babe. I can give you pets, but you can't demand attention by hurting me. Your claws are sharp, sweet pea. I know. So so I was like, well, I'll just at home I won't buy meat to make for myself. I'll just eat it when I go out into the world, and I'll just have delicious meat when I go to restaurants. And then I started getting really curious about vegan baking, just from the perspective of like eggs started to smell really bad. Every time I would crack an egg, it just didn't smell good. And I was like, well, maybe there are some other options. So I started looking into using vegan alternatives like flax in order to bake. And so then it became again like, well, just not at the house, but when I go out into the world, I can eat whatever I want. Um, and I never went vegetarian, full vegetarian. It was always just like, I'm just not gonna buy the groceries for home. But like I don't want to be rude if I go to someone's house and they're making food. If it has like mayonnaise or something in it, like that's impolite, right? To refuse food from somebody who made it for you. So I would eat whatever I wanted when I was out of the house, but at home, cooking for myself, I started replacing the foods that I would normally, have like a chicken salad or something for lunch. And I was like, well, maybe I'll just try potato salad. um, and then I started dating a vegan, and that was the year that I tore my ACL skiing. And I was sitting, it's a beautiful day in Lake Tahoe. I was sitting on a double black diamond mogul field looking out onto beautiful blue Lake Tahoe. This little paw right here. um, and was waiting for my dad to get ski patrol so I could be rescued and taken off of the mountain. And I was just crying my eyes out. And I was just like, you know what? I surrender to my higher power. Like, whatever you need me to do from here, like, clearly you have put me in this position for a reason. I've hurt myself for some sort of spiritual purpose. So I surrender. Whatever you need me to do, I'll do it. And right before my surgery, I went out and I was thinking, I really need protein in my body for this surgery, in order for my body to recover. So I went out with my family and had a prime rib, which used to be my favorite cut of meat. And it tasted bad. It just didn't taste good. It was like really disappointing. And as I mentioned, I was dating a vegan at the time, and he was helping to take care of me. And I had, during the first several weeks of surgery, such incredible swelling. Like my knee was bigger than my thigh, for weeks. And my neighbor, remember my neighbor dropping by and being like, "Oh, you still have so many bandages on." Like he could see my swelling was so big, and he thought I had this like bandage on. And I was like, "No, that's just the swelling." And he was like, "Your body's that swollen?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so I had my vegan dude at the time was like, "Listen, what if you just tried not eating animal products? What if you just stopped, drinking milk, eating yogurt, eating, dairy, and just see if that helps with the inflammation?" And I was like, "I'll try anything. Like, I got to get this swelling down." Like, it was hurt. The swelling was so bad that when I couldn't stand up because it would tug on the scar tissue and on the sutures, and it was just so painful. So like I would like get up to, just even go to the bathroom, and it would just be so much swelling, and I was so desperate for the swelling to go away. So I stopped eating animal products, and everything got better. My cheek acne disappeared because I wasn't eating dairy anymore. If you get acne, I had like really bad cystic acne on my cheeks. That was because I had a lactose allergy. I was having a reaction to, all the pus and all the stuff that is in dairy. Um, and all the sugar, of course, the lactose is sugar. And I just started to feel lighter and lighter and had more and more energy every single day. And of course, part of that was, the healing process. But after, 6 months of not eating animals, and again, it was like I wasn't super strict about it. It was like if I went over to someone's house for dinner and they were serving something with meat, I just wouldn't eat the meat. But if there was like cheese in it, I like might eat a little bit of the cheese, and my belly would get really upset. And I was like, man, yeah, I really got to stop eating this stuff. So flash forward 6 months, I'm in Thailand, and I'm there for a Thai massage training. And as part of this training, did not realize this was going to be part of it. But as part of the training, we chanted together, and I was reciting this oath, and it was being chanted in the Thai language, but they had given us a piece of paper with the translation, and it was basically saying, in exchange for receiving this very sacred healing modality, you are not going to cause harm to anything else, and you are not going to cause harm to any animals ever again in order to receive the sacred healing modality. And then we had to go into this room, and there's this huge golden Buddha, like gigantic golden Buddha, and we had to make an offering. This is a very sacred process that I really had no idea. I was like, I'm just here to learn how to, do Thai massage, and I had no idea that this was going to be part of it. But as I'm chanting these words of like, I will never harm another animal for my own benefit, I'm realizing like, oh, this is the line in the sand for myself. This is me telling, my spirit guides, but also just like myself, like I'm not going to ever put another animal product into my body, because I don't want to cause harm. I don't want anything else to suffer. And I already know, I've been experimenting for years with my body to know that I don't have to put animal products into my body. In fact, putting animals into my body is actually causing me to suffer. Um, and it was very much this line in the sand moment where all of a sudden I got to convert to becoming the vegan asshole that I am today, where I talk about how awful it is the way that we farm animals and torture them and forcibly impregnate them, and how bizarre it is that, for a lot of people, they're drinking cow's milk and not even thinking about the fact that just like humans, cows don't produce milk just like all the time. They only produce milk when they have a baby. And so, these cows are being forcibly impregnated, and then their babies are taken away, and their babies are then killed or put into, the same process of, that same cycle of torture. And then these mothers are mourning their children while their milk is being taken from them. And just the when you think about it, it's awful. But the thing is, we've all been sold this like propaganda of this is what you need, right? And we have this programming of like, this is what you need. And I remember my stepmother asking me a few years ago, and I've now been vegan for almost 10 years. And a few years ago, she said, you know what, like if you were raising the cow and you knew that it was treated really well, and was being fed really well and just had a great life, would you then drink the cow's milk? And I was like, no, because the milk isn't for me. Like the milk isn't just there all the time. Like the milk would be because the cow is pregnant and the baby cow needs the milk. And so I asked her, like, would you drink a human's breast milk? And she looked at me like I was crazy and she said, that's ridiculous. And I was like, well, what you're saying is ridiculous. You've just been programmed to think it's normal because someone's making a lot of money off of it being normal that we drink cow milk. Um, so I mention all this because I talk about it a lot on threads and people get very upset with me. And I don't mind that people get upset with me because I spent most of my life, I'm 42 now. So most of my life I was eating animal products like it was the most normal thing in the world. And it's only now that I look back and I see that I was ingesting torture and that my body was rejecting it in many different ways. I was overweight, I had terrible skin, I had joint pain, a lot of inflammation. And it all, culminates on this moment on the mountain where I'm like, I surrender whatever you need me to do to like not suffer anymore. I will do it. And then, flash forward to me being in front of this Buddha in Thailand, swearing that I will, in order to receive this sacred healing modality, I will never harm another animal. And as a vegan, I do the best I can. I've never knowingly put animal products into my body, but I have been served meals by people who know that I'm vegan. And then as soon as I take a bite, they're like, oh, but you eat eggs, right? And I'm like, oh, yeah, no, I don't eat eggs. No, that's not how it goes. And you go to a restaurant, and if it's not a purely vegan restaurant, you tell the server, like, hey, I'm vegan. And they're like, oh, great, here are all our gluten-free options. And I'm like, no, those are two different things. In fact, I would like extra gluten. If you have extra gluten back there, I'll take some extra gluten. What I don't want is cheese, eggs, dairy. There was a time I was traveling through Hong Kong and went to a restaurant and I had a translator and I was like, this is what I don't eat. And they were like, oh, yes, we understand completely. Here is our vegetarian menu. And on the vegetarian menu, it had like shark fin soup. And I was like, okay, I don't know if I'm going to be able to eat anything in this country if this is what they think being vegan is. But essentially, being vegan, of course, is not a diet, and it was a long process of me learning, like, oh, not only can I not eat animal products, but like there are animal products like in toilet paper. In toilet paper. Did you know that? Did you know that most toilet paper actually isn't vegan? There's animal products in there. So then I had to like source vegan toilet paper. And of course, most shoes use some type of glue that has animal products in it. So I had to source vegan shoes and, replace all my leather products that I had collected over the years, thinking like, oh, these are luxury products and they'll last forever. And this is the correct thing to do, is to buy leather. And then realizing like what a horrifying contribution to the world. Not only do I own this stuff and am popularizing it just by like, using it and carrying it around, but like I put money into this. And anytime you pay money for animal products, you are paying for animals to be tortured. That's just the reality of it. And a lot of people are okay with that. A lot of people are okay with animals being tortured so long as they don't have to see it or confront that reality. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk about it today, is to force you to confront the reality that there is no way to consume animal products, to use animal products without animals being tortured. There's just no way to do it. So veganism is, not just a diet, it's a philosophy that seeks to reduce the suffering in the world by not exploiting animals, which includes humans. And of course, I'm filming this on an iPhone that was probably made by, subhuman, like slave labor, essentially. And so it goes into like every dollar that I spend, I'm having to like, really rationalize, like, is it worth it to buy this if a slave made it? Is that worth it to me? because I want all beings to be free from suffering. And do I really need this if it's going to cause and promote suffering amongst other beings? And that leads to, really mindful consumption. And so it really changed the way that I spend money, where rather than spending money on things, a lot of the time I'm spending money on experiences instead. So that's my vegan story. That's how I became vegan. That's my slow process towards becoming vegan. And I will say, like, as I said, I do the best I can. And if I encourage people to have even one meal without animal products, I consider that a win. I don't expect everyone in the world to become vegan, but wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something if we all woke up tomorrow and we were like, oh, we shouldn't be torturing animals. We shouldn't be doing that anymore. Wouldn't that be incredible if all those dairy farms, if all those cattle farms converted to sanctuaries? And I actually have like an open challenge to anyone who runs a business, like, a cattle farming business, that I will find a way to make you more money turning that business into an animal sanctuary than you are already making by torturing and killing animals. So if anyone out there owns any sort of cattle ranch, chicken farm, dairy farm, and you're like, actually, I would like to make more money not torturing animals, contact me and I will help you make more money converting your land into a sanctuary. All right? All right. I'm teaching yoga nidra tonight, and I'm struggling to stay awake. So I'm gonna go sit in the hot tub. I skied all day today on the mountain. It snowed all day, free refills, and then I had to come home and shovel out the hot tub. Which, let me tell you, as a single woman, nothing makes me want a man more than shoveling snow. Although, of course, it's rarely worth the effort of dealing with a man just to have someone around to shovel snow. But, it's one of those moments where I was like, yeah, it'd be nice to have a partner right now, not to have to deal with this. But I did it. I did it myself. And now I'm going to go sit in that hot tub and I'm going to let weather just happen around me. I'm going to listen to nature and I'm going to exist in this world where we are all suffering, and I'm going to wish for all of us to be free from our suffering. And I wish that for you. I hope that you can be free from your suffering. Good night.